Alrighty folks, what's happening? This is the experimental show. I don't believe we're numbering them anymore, but this is kind of a pretty cool experiment we did here. Get that sneak peek of all different angles right at the beginning. Hope you guys are doing really well. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan. We've been making some beautiful work. And the experimental show is all about pushing the boundaries, doing something a little bit different. And this is something that a good buddy of mine gave me the suggestion for. And he was kind of like, this is something that we could sell to a higher end client, and potentially we got to experiment with it a little bit. It's going to be an ashtray. And the idea is that it's going to have a topper, and this is a beautiful collaboration between ashtray and Venetian stemware and super high crafted technical action. To make a topper like this, it's like a cake platter, and that Venetian stemware and tableware is all super their style and super ornate and delicate and difficult to do. So I wanted to kind of give an ode to that when we're trying this and make it pretty ornate. I went into the gold there and dusted it just a little bit so it's got a hint of the iridescent gold going on. And I'm going to walk you through the whole process. But if you guys haven't seen our shows before, we do a lot of streaming. This is a weekly occurrence here amongst other videos that we do. And pretty much we're in our studio. We got multiple holes. And I'm working with Matt today. That's me in the green, Jacob. We're a family business in Dearborn, Michigan. And we blow glass pretty much every day. This is the optic twist. It's a super cool move to get that beautiful texture on there. Instead of keeping it straight. I mean, we could have made a pumpkin out of that if we wanted, but I twisted it up and now we've got this kind of gradual 45-degree delicate ashtray twist. Looking pretty good, but that was the neckline. I was using a little bit of gravity there, let it get real squatty. I didn't want it to be a wide, tall bowl to catch a bunch of ash. It's a low, squatty baby that'll just hold whatever may be ash right on the top. The cool thing, and the thing that in the end you'll see I want to experiment with a little bit more and potentially change up, is what's going to hold the piece that's being ashed. Here comes Matt with a little bit of a foot. We got to flip it around first, but you can see the extent of the shop right there. Pretty big building. We're building a bar into our place right now. A lot of cool additions going on. And actually, since this video, it's pumpkin season right now, and so we completely decked out the gallery with glass pumpkins, all different shapes and sizes and stems, and we've been posting a lot of content about that as well. Look at how clean that foot went on there. It's really difficult to get sharp edges in glass. When you bring over something super hot like that, straight from the furnace, crystal clear, Matt brought it perfectly symmetrical. You can just shape it up super nice. So that went on super clean. And we're going to do the punty here. This is the flip around, and I'm going to let the music go up here as I'm told I should, and just let you guys enjoy the video for a second. Boom. That's where you break it off, and that's a nice flip around. Then I reheated the top, and now so I'm sitting back down at the bench, you see that the top, that was probably a nice 2-minute delay there. I reheated the top, and I can pull it out thin, trim off what's extra. You know, that's a nice little piece there. I was able to bust off at the perfect temperature. Normally, if that tags back, that's kind of Matt should have been there with the paddle, tapping it away and making sure that it didn't touch. But it was the perfect temperature that I was able to just smack it with a little bit of force, and it kind of busted it off the side without sticking too much glass on there. This shape's a really difficult shape in glass blowing because, see, there he is with the paddle now, watching the second one. The low squatty bowl is, you can't use the tools. This is about, and pretty much everything you do in glass blowing, you want to let the glass do its thing and move the way it's going to move and not be forcing around with tools. So this one's all about opening it up, but then holding it up in the air and letting gravity bring it down and squattify it. And if you don't get that good squattification, then it's no good. But I did fold the lip right there, and that's actually, that move that I just did for aesthetic purposes is what will be the demise of this piece later on. And it just basically by folding the lip, it thickened up the lip a little bit. Kind of gave it a cool looking edge to it, but in the very end, it trapped a little bit of air in there, and you guys will see in the final pictures, and you'll see later on in the process where it cracked in multiple spots along that folded lip, and that was just a bad move on my part. But got that really nice squatty low boy shape there, and this is where I was like, hold on, Matt, I want to set this up. I did a little gold platform, and this is going to be the little curls. There's no name for this, but these are the little curls that will hold whatever may be in there. And actually, it was going to be an Evolio, so it was going to be like a platform that'll hold on to these two little curls. This is pretty cool Venetian work here as well. As our reminder, folks, like and subscribe. You guys, this is what we do for a living. We love blowing glass. We're proud of what we do, and we have a great following in person in Michigan. But we also love streaming, and it's about education and showing you guys the glass and learning something cool every day. So if you guys think this is pretty cool, if you just found us, if you've been here for a long time, spread the word a little bit. Like the page, like this video, drop a comment in there. Every Monday I come in and I'm going to be looking at the comments. So if you guys have questions about anything that's happening, why am I holding two pipes at once? Drop it in the comments and I'll get back to you guys. There's a lot to be learned about glass. I'm learning every day. I've been doing it my whole life, but it's like there's nothing easy about glass blowing. It's always a challenge, and this is proof is in the pudding right here. Look at this move. We should have had a third person blowing glass with us right now. Michelle's actually on the camera, my mom, and she's working keeping the piece straight so that we can flip this other piece around. The timing of this is crazy, and if you're new to glass, you know that the glass will cool down. It'll crack off the pipe, just like mine's going to kind of do later. Not off the pipe, but it will crack. And if it's thicker, it'll actually just completely explode. So it's like the timing of this and this little piece getting set up to be the platform is super important. I'm getting that all lined up real nice and tasty. Matt's keeping the other piece warm so that in a second we'll be able to flip back and it'll drop it on the top and drop this as like a little plateau, little champion's plateau for a couple little curls that we're going to put on there with some really detailed work. It's a pretty crazy switch around application. Let's see what I do. Final heat. We got Michelle joining in. We set down the camera on the tripod so we can all three do this. We need a stick-em bit. Michelle's coming with a little bit of clear glass. The timing's super important. We drop this from over top. And while that's still real hot, I give it a little extra heat because there's a cut mark from the tool. Matt is learning how to do the old flip around right there. I preheated the tweezers right there so I can grab this, knock it, and stick it. And really what happened was I didn't preheat the tweezers enough. I forgot in the last moment, so I just put it in that little pilot flame up on top of the torch. And there I don't know if you could tell, I was a little upset about it. But I didn't preheat them enough, so I grabbed the tiniest part of that platform and you can see half of it fell off. In the end, this is an experimental show. I've never made this piece before, so it turned out just fine. I was able to flatten that top little bit and make it the right size platform, because if it was as tall as I had it there to begin with, there's that flat spot, it would have been super hard to make a topper big enough to cover this up. And the reason we want a topper on here is so that we can suffocate the air out of whatever you may place there. And this is a pretty cool action shot right now. Look at the juicy glass just moving around. You gotta move quick. I cut it off, and you gotta use that few last fleeting moments of heat to pull it out and curl it, or do whatever you're gonna do in that particular moment. But see, it's pulling out real nice. I'll cut it one more time, get the right size. And do this old curl over. The idea, and this is gonna have to be worked on a little bit more, is that it's a varying size. It's a nice kind of V-shaped crevice that you can place whatever you're smoking into. Because it may be smaller, it may be large, you know, from a cigarette up to like a giant cigar. There's varying types of things that people smoke. So we wanted to have the angle of this correct And I think it could have been taller. I could have curled it less, and these curls might not even be the right shape, to be honest. I don't know. It might take 2 of them. I was thinking about during the process as well. It's like, maybe it's just doesn't have any curl and nothing you have to stick it into, but if it's 2 separate plateaus that are just flat or slightly curved on the top, kind of like this started before I put the 2 curls on it, then you would set it right on there, and as long as it's short enough to fit within the topper, then it might just work. But then, you know, what if it's too short? What if it's too big? I don't know. To be decided. If you make them 2 stems, 2 pillars in the middle, it might just work. But anywho, pretty involved process. Oh, there's not an actual part where it shows the cracking, because all it did was I had it a little cold, I went for a heat, and boom, it shattered along the side. So here I'm going to be sealing up the side, but you can see those cracks creeping along the edge just a little bit. That's no fun. Lost a little bit of mojo on that for sure. Normally when I look at the camera, I'm like, yeah, and I give it a thumbs up right there. I was demojified. But here we're gonna iridize it. That's like, we're like, pretty much it's done. You know, it's the experimental show, it's cracked, but we're gonna give it the bling bling and bring out the metallic properties in that iridescent gold. And then we'll knock it off. And we wanna make sure when we get it off, we're gonna get it into the box. I don't even think I really showed you guys that well. I was kind of just bummed about it. 2 drops of water. Here it is. That's gonna catch it. That goes into the box at about 1,000 degrees, and that went safe and sound. Now I'm going to be gathering up the topper. This is where this is even more difficult than all the intricate stuff we just did there. I got a pretty large gather of clear glass. It's 2,100 degrees, it's moving like honey. And to make something thin enough that it actually feels like a topper, look, I'm showing off all the dirt that was on the Marver. It's crystal clear, so we want it to be clean. Luckily, I wiped it one time before shaping it up. But to make it thin enough, it has to be a perfectly symmetrical bubble. Everything about this has to be perfectly even. If it's too thin and it's thick on one side, or it's thin on the other side, and you're blowing it out this thin, it's gonna blow out completely wonky. Sometimes you can hide an uneven bubble by leaving it a little bit thicker, but I already got it blown out pretty wide here. We're doing it hot. We're doing most of it in one move. And I'm just gonna be shaping the air right now that Matt's providing into the piece. It's big. It's like, I thought we were making a small ashtray, but all of a sudden the thing was probably like, even when it's 3 inches wide, to make a cover that's gonna sit all the way over it and suffocate the air out of it, it's pretty serious. Originally, another idea would be to have the cover sit onto the platform, that 3-inch platform, but to get that lined up and perfectly proportionate is super difficult. We would have to make multiple more. So this was the first run, but to get in the rhythm and have it calipered out and have the exact size you need, there's nothing easy about that. So maybe that's in the future there. This is gonna be the topper, the part you hold with your hand that'll go on the top. We'll put a little ball on top. We need to have something up there that we'll grab onto when you're using it, but also so we can flip it around and open the other side. Gravity, letting it fall. Try not to touch it at all if possible. I'm just going to get the crevice in there and make sure it's nice and smooth, but I pretty much leave that nice and rounded out. It's an easy grab, and just the less you can touch the glass, the better. Flip around. I was blowing on that ball to make sure it cooled down. It didn't move when we stuck it here, but look at how delicate that connection is. Because all we really want to do is just put that on there. Look, watch, I'm going to tap it with the cold metal right where we want it to break. Just pinch, pinch, and then break it off. And we just want that to be on there for not even 5 minutes. I flip it around, I'm going to open it up. It's so thin, there's no time to work on it more than that. But I cut it off so it's nice and symmetrical and even. I'm going to do one more heat, and then bust it open wide. There we go, got a nice heat on it. Matt's watching the lip. I'm ripping it open. It actually looked really cool with that little bit of a bulge in the side. So I kind of used that and you put the jacks in there and opened it up so it's got a little topper. Looks like a cake topper almost. And that's kind of what it is. Check that out, crystal clear. Super delicate. That's as long as you can stay out of the heat when it's that thin. So I'm gonna get one more heat on it. We're gonna knock it off. We're gonna torch it. We did have the calipers out, made sure it was wider than the piece we had made previous to this. And these pieces will eventually be for sale. This one's not because it has a crack in it, but we're working on making a one and done page on the website where we have a lot of products. We make yearly products, seasonal products. We teach classes here in Dearborn. But you should definitely subscribe to our YouTube and watch because we post a ton of times a week. The shorts we're doing are incredible. All kinds of cool content. So just throw us a like or subscribe there. But eventually on the website, we're also going to have a one and done from the experimental show and other various projects page where you can find and see things like this and potentially purchase them in the future. Matt with a steady hand taking it to the box. That is the way. A little extra color application action. But again, if you guys have questions about anything you saw here today, anything going on, please just comment that. Put that in the comments. We'll get back to you. I love reading the comments, talking to you guys. We got a great following. Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. we do our live streams, so you can meet us on the internet and talk with us there. But take a look at that final piece. You can see the cracks kind of in the side there. And I hope you guys enjoy the content. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to talking to you real soon.